Dear sisters and brothers, good evening. Welcome to today's edition of Being Heartful Every Day, a joyful adventure. We are conducting this program to celebrate Revered Babuji Maharaj's 125th birth anniversary. So, welcome again. My name is Prasanna Krishna. I'll be facilitating today's program. We are on week 23, day 159, and the quality for the week is Poise. Before we start the program, again, a couple of one request to all of you is to go through your list of friends and family members who have not started Heartfulness yet and send them the link of Daji's masterclasses so that they can go through it and start practicing Heartfulness. And also for those of your friends and family members who are not participating in this Being Heartful Everyday program, please do send the link at the bottom of the screen. They can send an email to this link and register themselves for the BHED program. So we start the program now formally. We are at the inspirational leading part of it, where we start a new article by Revered Dachi, The Art of Removing and Creating Habits, Part 8. Daji continues his series on refining habits in the light of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga and current scientific and yogic principles and practices. Last month, he explored the first niyama of purity, Shaucha. This month, he shares his insights on the pivotal human quality, contentment, which is known in yoga as Santosh. Contentment. Our quest for happiness, contentment, happiness, well-being, these have been considered the hallmarks of a good life for people from all cultures since time immemorial. Yet, in today's uncertain world, they seem to elude us more than ever before. When I remember my grandparents, who were simple village folk from Gujarat in India, they had very little in the way of material possessions, and they lived through tough times at the end of the British rule and India's independence. But they had a higher level of contentment than most wealthy people living in luxurious lives today. In my memory, I still see their simple life, their smiles, their way of being with family members, and the fundamental principles that define their lifestyle. These principles brought them a lot of stability, and they are the lifestyle habits that we are discussing in this series. I hear the same stories from my Western friends who tell me that their grandparents and parents living through the First World War, the Great Depression, and the Second World War, who also seem to have a higher level of contentment than many people today. They may do with very little when resources were scarce. They appreciated so many of their ordinary things in daily life, like wartime rations, a beautiful sunrise, a homemade Christmas presents, and letters from loved ones at home or on the battlefield. They made something of their lives despite the hardships they endured. An example, an amazing and inspiring example, is the 1997 film Life is Beautiful, about a Jewish Italian bookstore owner whose family was captured by Nazis and interned, and who managed to shield his young son from the horrors of concentration camp while living with humor and hope. The highlighted portion: contentment arises when we are in contact with the soul. It is vital to understand this point. Contentment does not come from the body or the mind. It emanates from the soul. As the layers of conditioning dissolve, A striking modern day of example happened at a Heartfulness Youth Conference in Nairobi, Kenya in 2018. Those who attended were all graduates of the CAP Youth Empowerment Initiative for Disadvantaged Youth. And many did not know where the next meal was coming from and when they would find employment. Their stories were difficult by most people's standards, yet they exuded such life and joy that our team was brought to tears. Their openness and heartfelt participation were appreciated by all who attended. So we easily see that a person's level of contentment is not necessarily related to their circumstances. Instead, it is directly related to their inner state, their level of acceptance, or alternately, their level of expectation and desire. Also, contentment arises when we are in contact with the soul. It's vital to understand this point. Contentment does not come from the body or mind. It emanates from the souls as the layers of conditioning dissolve. In this article, we'll explore some of the practices that help us to experience that connection. But first, let's explore the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the ancient patriarch of yoga. These sutras were written thousands of years ago. These sutras were written thousands of years ago and are still so relevant today. What does he say about the second niyama of contentment? Like purity leads to contentment, leads to happiness. First, Patanjali says that contentment arises out of purity, the first niyama. He defines the four qualities that arise out of purity, and the first is contentment. How does this happen? When we remove all impurities, complexities, and heaviness in our system that form coverings around the soul, we purify our field of consciousness, allowing us to focus inward and connect to the soul. It's here that we experience inner contentment. Second, Patanjali says that the extraordinary happiness results from quiet contentment. So purity leads to contentment, which in turn leads to happiness. This extraordinary happiness is an inner state. It has nothing to do with the pleasures and pains of worldly existence, which are fickle, coming and going like the weather. So let's take a pause here. It gives us a couple of minutes to introspect on what we read, especially on the importance of contentment, why contentment is so important, how it helps us develop poise, etc. So let's introspect. 9 o'clock, we'll start a universal prayer. It's 9 o'clock now. We can start our universal prayer. And today being a Friday, all of us will be getting a direct sitting with Daji. So let's do our universal prayer for about 8-9 minutes and then slip into meditation till about 9:30. Let's all sit comfortably, gently close our eyes, and go into this prayerful attitude and pray that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. Yeah, as we have been discussing, unless these feelings of love or devotion and faith is extremely strong in our heart, our prayers will not be so effective. So let's work towards developing this love, devotion, and faith in our hearts so that our prayers can be more effective. So let's all pray that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion and real faith is growing stronger in them. हम आराम से बैठेंगे, धीरे से अपने आंखें बंद करेंगे और ये प्रार्थना करेंगे कि सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। इन शब्दों का तो बहुत गहरा अर्थ है, पर हम जब तक अपने हृदय में ये भाव, ये प्रेम की भाव, भक्ति की भाव और श्रद्धा की नहीं बना सकते हैं, तब तक अपना प्रार्थना इतना इफेक्टिव नहीं हो सकता है। तो इसीलिए हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अपना हृदय में प्रेम, भक्ति और श्रद्धा बढ़ाए और प्रार्थना करें कि सब भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। After about 8 or 9 minutes, I'll prompt everybody to get into meditation. So we can get into meditation and sit till 9:30. Let's continue with a prayerful attitude and slip into meditation. Let's meditate till about 9:30 p.m. Daji will be giving us all a setting like he does on every Friday. Please start meditation. Those of us who would like to continue meditation, please continue your meditation. And we come to the end of today's program. See you all tomorrow at 6 a.m. Let's all remember to sit for a bedtime tonight.